Welcome out to Game of the Month number 20 freaking 9. How did we get this high? I do not know. But here we
so
are.
high.
Anyway, this month we are discussing the one and only Super Mario Kart. I'm rocking the Japanese version today because Wiz got the North American version locked down over there. So here we go. If you want to get this game on the cheap, Japanese version's the way to go. Anyway, Super Mario Kart came out in 1992, I believe, for the Super Nintendo / Super Famicom, depending where you live in the world, and introduced us to the world of Mario Kart, which is still going strong today, maybe a little too strong.
No, Mario Kart can never be too strong. Just greedy corporations that own it.
Well, rip F-Zero.
Yeah, rip F-Zero.
Rip F-Zero.
It's like there's room for two racers. They scratch different itches.
Well, that's why you get F-Zero 99 now, and we get to keep that Super
that's
Nintendo,
totally the same thing.
Super Nintendo aesthetic to go with it. There we go.
Hold on, we're supposed to be talking about Mario Kart. Now you're baiting my copium. Like the rest of the internet, we're like F-Zero 99 added more F-Zero games to the online membership, including the Japanese exclusive one. It's like, what you doing over there, Nintendo? Copium. Anyways.
All right.
Mario Kart.
Super Mario Kart. So this is a game that I never owned back in the day. I would just rent this one from the video store quite frequently and would borrow from a couple of friends, and yeah, had a lot of fun with this one back as a kid. I remember when we first discovered 150cc was an unlockable thing. My friends had no idea that was a thing because they could never finish off special on 100cc. And then we discovered 150cc, and it was like, what the heck is that? So a lot of great childhood memories for this one, and I have recently 100%ed the entire retro achievement set for this game. My opinion on the game has shifted a lot since doing that. But what was your guys' first experiences on this one? We'll let Wiz lead us off this time, because I think we let Zachary lead us off. No, wait, opposite. Zachary, you lead us off. We let Wiz lead off on Time Splitters.
Okay. So I don't really have nostalgia for this game because it came out when I was 1 year old. So I didn't really play it. And I know I played it at some point during the Wii / Wii U era, though I don't know exactly where. I can't pin it down, but I definitely played it when it came out on Switch Online, and I would say that was my first real understanding of it as a game. It's fun, but I see a lot of history in it, but I don't think it's my favorite Mario Kart.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter when you get into a game, as long as you get to experience it. You're right?
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, Wiz, what about you? Give us some history.
This one, this is my childhood kart right here.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. I've had this for ages. I think it was a Christmas gift from grandparents, and me and my brothers would play this a ton. We sunk so many hours into this, and clearing everything on 150cc, and just absolutely getting to the point where you could just mercilessly abuse the computer players at every turn. It was so much fun.
You know what
I
interesting?
have a lot of nostalgic value on this one.
I kind of noticed that when I was playing too, because like the computers have always cheated in Mario Kart, but even when they cheat in this one, you can still whoop them good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing about the computers in this one,
so satisfying about lapping somebody. I mean, one, it just feels good.
Yeah.
And then two, when you're in first place and you have a banana and you're like, I'm gonna lap this guy, cut him off, and drop that in his face just because I can.
Yep.
Just because you can.
That was the thing about the CPUs in this game, though, is how every single one of them was static locked to only a single item that they could use. And so you would try to pick characters that you really enjoy playing as, but sometimes that was really detrimental. So it's like you pick Yoshi and you have to deal with freaking No, Yoshi I think is okay. I think Yoshi has to deal with Koopa Troopa, and so he just shoots off static green shells, which isn't too bad. Uh, or maybe he has to deal with Luigi. I don't remember, but anyway, whenever you have to deal with the Mario Brothers as being your main two opponents, and they just have infinite star power, and it's like, okay, you literally can't touch them. That's a little
Yeah.
problematic. Bowser is obnoxious because his thing goes in a circle, his little fireball. And then Peach and Toad, they're not too bad. They have the shrinking mushrooms, and it's like, as long as you can avoid people like you can with the Mario Brothers, it's not too bad to be shrunk. I think you might lose a little bit of speed, but yeah. Yeah.
When I played, I had Yoshi as my main rival with Mario as my second. Fortunately, because Mario was my second rival, he was always further back, so I didn't have to deal with his annoyances too much. Yoshi, though, is like, egg, egg,
He
egg.
shoots
I
them
was
off
like,
all the
stop
time.
throwing eggs at me.
Yeah.
I
But
swear, though, it's funny. Like, I
funny.
swear they would pass me, and then they would slow down and pass me, and then I got curious, and I turned on the rear view,
Oh,
and all of
yeah.
a sudden they stopped passing me. It's like, now that I'm watching you, you're afraid to cheat.
Yeah, so I mean, the AI in this game is really interesting. They really go on a pretty scripted path. So when you play the game
Yeah.
enough to know exactly the line they're on, like again, it is easy to really screw them up. And this one was also really interesting. Whatever position they're like starting in, that's the position they will typically always finish in. And so if you're able to screw them up enough to put them down into like 7th, you can literally have a new set of rivals. Like that was one
Yeah.
thing I used to mess with as a kid a lot, was doing that,
Does the
seeing if I could
game
get everybody points.
Yeah. Does the game actually change your rival mid-circuit or series?
Well, whoever finishes in second will stay in second.
Yeah, it'll
Oh, okay.
reprioritize them.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
it's really
Uh,
I didn't know that.
interesting.
yeah,
It's
I
really
was doing that the
interesting.
other night. So I played Mario and I had DK Jr. as my rival with Peach in third. And I had a green shell that I blasted him with right before the finish line. So then DK ended up getting fourth instead of second. And so then for the rest of that cup, it was Princess Peach I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it's
That's
really
neat.
interesting. It's really interesting how it works. Like, I'd love to read a deep dive into like the specific game mechanics for this game. Like, I know people do that kind of stuff with a lot of games. This would be an interesting read one for me. But I think one of the most iconic things for me about this game at the time, because I didn't play F-Zero. Like, I know F-Zero came out before this game. Potentially, it wasn't F-Zero a launch game. Anyway, but Super Mario Kart was like my first big experience with Mode 7 graphics, and it was just so cool to see at the time. Like, it's just sprites on a shifting 2D plane, but it felt three-dimensional. It felt like a 3D game. Like, it
It
was
did.
really cool. And I know Pilot Wings did it, I know F-Zero did it, but again, this was my first experience with it, so it was really
Yeah,
mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Same. I played this before I even saw Pilot Wings or F-Zero, so it was like a whole new world,
Mhm.
playing with this. And that's part of it too, is like, because I played a lot of racing games on the NES, and I played racing games on the Atari as well, playing things like Pole Position
Yeah.
or RC Pro Am, or other ones that
Ooh, great game.
weren't so strict a racing game, like Bump and Jump or Spy Hunter.
Mhm.
It,
Yeah, because Mode
so-
7 is not the same as tracks that worked in the old arcade way, where it's just the road going left and right. It's like it's
Yep.
a totally it is an actual air quotes 3-dimension space.
yeah, like they draw things in the distance for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's You're not just interacting with what's immediately in front of you getting redrawn rapidly. So
Yeah,
it's like
you get to plan ahead.
it was quite the experience, the first time putting this in and getting, and again, that same kind of thing where even just the steering, like making a turn, it was like making a real turn. You weren't
Yeah.
just do a nudge left and nudge right to follow the gentle curvature of the road. So
Yeah.
It also, being an actual 3D plane, allowed for battle mode to exist too. because a battle mode like balloon battle could not function in the old just turn to stay in the road style of racer.
And that was another cool thing about this game too. So, it has the screen split in half as you play it, whether you're playing it as single player or multiplayer. You play on the top screen, and then the bottom screen will either have a map, or you can turn on the rearview mirror, like Zachary mentioned earlier. And then if you're playing in 2-player, it just becomes both players' playing fields. So no matter how you play this game, like you're gonna have a very consistent experience across single player and multiplayer, which I thought was always really cool. And I liked that the map was like good enough that you could actually just look at that to race on sometimes too, if you really wanted to. Like it was pretty cool. Like it was a cool feature to me. I liked being able to see it. And I don't know if people liked that or not, but I always thought it was pretty cool.
I loved being able to like drop a banana or a shell and then drive, 10, 15 seconds and hear a crash noise and look at the map to see it would spun out and be like, ha, got him.
That noise is perfect too. It's such a unique sound.
Especially when you get the kind of loud pop at the start of it, it almost sounds like you blew one of their tires.
Yeah. It's like a definitely big air burst, that's for sure. It's fantastic.
It's satisfying.
It's fantastic. It's a great effect. And I mean, that's the other thing too. Like the sound effects in this game are all really well done.
Yeah.
As a whole, just to segue into that. Like it's just you got the 3 different classes of engines, and they all have their unique sound effects. Each character has their little getting in first place sound cue, and then different items, the item firing effect when you throw it out, and again the sound effect for blasting people. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. Something else I really like is they did a really good job with the far away sprites for racers. Like it does a very good job. It's like the full, I don't like 64-bit image and then shrinks and then it shrinks and it's like 3 pixels wide, but you still know it's Bowser, Like they were very good with that reduction of detail.
Yeah.
The art was on point.
Yeah. The only thing I found a little funny was I think I froze the frame at just the right time when Mario had his star on. It's like, is that Luigi? But outside of that, it was. And I only say that because like I was playing as Luigi, so it's like, wait.
It's good stuff. And it holds up really well even today for an older racing title. Like it doesn't feel as intuitive to play, but like it still looks good. It's got good pixel art, and if you play it on emulators, you could do HD mode 7 to really like enhance the background up a ton as well. So it's really cool, but that requires doing PC emulation, obviously. But
thing I want to bring up on that, I might be in the minority here, but I actually think the ground looks better pixelated than it does in an HD setting. And because I've played a Super Mario Kart twice, once in an online version that was like reverse engineered, and then obviously the SNES version. And I don't know, like when the background looks pixelated, in a way it looks less flat, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because like when the resolution is too high, the image is, the world is clearly flat, and it feels more like you got like a little action figure on a map, like that little car rug we all had.
Oh, that's great.
But like I felt like it was more enjoyable when it blurs in the background, and kind of like real life when things far off kind of lose detail. So
yeah,
I don't know. To me, it was more immersive actually pixelating as it goes further out.
Yeah, I mean, just personal preference, whatever you like to choose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, regardless, it's a Super Nintendo game from 1992. It's not pushing the system anywhere near as far as other games on the system do. It doesn't use any expansion chips, as you can see here, without the side tabs and the PCB. So, I mean, this is just running off of pretty much pure SNES specs. I think, wasn't this like one of the first games that used one of the expansion DSP chips, though, for better audio? DSP 1 or something? I don't know. Someone can actually us in the comments on that. But, yeah, Visually and audio-wise, I think the game holds up incredibly well even today, as long as you are going in with the proper expectations of this is a freaking Super Nintendo game. It's not current gen. And what it does with the hardware available, like, it's still really impressive. To me, at least.
Yeah, so the DSP-1, it was used as a math compressor in games such as Mario Kart and Pilot Wings. That
Okay,
is
so
required for
Pilot Wings
advanced
launch
Mode
game.
7 scaling and rotation.
Okay, so that was available since the launch. Okay, cool deal. Thank you there. But let's talk a bit more specifics about game mechanics here. So, your typical Mario Kart setup that you experienced even to this day, where you have Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, special, Mushroom, Flower, Star, Special. I thought I said special twice. So in 50cc, you only get the first 3 cups, and then 100cc, you get the special cup after you beat the other 3 cups. And then after you beat all those, it unlocks 150cc mode with those 4 in it once again. And they changed things later on in the Mario Kart franchise, because in Super Mario Kart, each track had 5 laps.
Mhm.
And other Mario Kart since then have dropped it down to 3 laps, but the tracks are much longer. So,
Definitely a limitation of how big the tracks could be.
yep.
Yep.
And so the
Yep.
5 laps were definitely to make it so the races lasted longer, because even as is, these races don't last much longer than 3 minutes on even
Yeah.
the biggest tracks. And
Yeah.
so it's really compact, tight racing experience, and you get a good slew of items, and there's 8 characters, right? So Mario, Luigi, Yoshi,
Yes.
Peach, Koopa Troopa, Bowser, DK Jr., Toad,
Yeah.
right?
I believe so.
So, again, they have the 3 weight classes, with Donkey Kong and Bowser obviously being heavy, Mario, Luigi being medium. I think Toad actually fell into medium. And then Yoshi, Peach being light, Koopa Troopa being light. So,
Was Toad heavier than Yoshi and
I
Peach?
don't know, but I think Toad actually falls into the medium category in this game. I don't remember off
He must be hiding something in that hat of his.
his brains. They're just overflowing. Anyway, that was one of the creepy pasta type things that was told back in the day. It's like you couldn't take Toad's hat off because his brains would fall out. It was a whole thing.
Ugh. It's
Yeah,
not a hat and it's his head.
that was a whole thing. It was disturbing.
Ew.
It was really disturbing. But I really like the way the difficulty in this game scales up from 50 to 100cc. Like 50cc is very introductory. It's very
Accessible.
it's easy for someone to start off the game with, just like it
Yeah.
is in future iterations. But like you get to 100 and it's a fairly decent challenge for a new player. But once you become better at the game, it's not too challenging, but still a decent level of fun to be had out of it. And then you get to 150cc, and again, as a kid, I used to love 150cc. I would play it all the time. I would shrink my character down in the character select and beat all the tracks that way. And then when I was doing my retro achievement completion, I got to 150cc and I said, I hate how janky this is so much. It is, oh my gosh. Oh boy.
Yeah.
You and your retro achievements, man, you're playing the game till it's not fun anymore.
What's the point of playing a game for fun? Got to get them
Yeah,
achievements
right.
out of it.
You got to get them made up internet points.
Got to get my
Got to get
e-peen
those
as big as it
good.
can get.
Man, how will people on the internet respect me if I don't earn these achievements?
No, see, I could point to it and say, yeah, there we go. That's how diehard I am. How diehard are you? Anyway, so every mechanic that you expect out of a Mario Kart game really got its start here. You got drifting, you got the jumping, shortcuts. And so on 150cc, the speed of your kart is obviously increased quite a bit. And I just cannot stand the physics behind the cart anymore at that difficulty level.
You really got to use the brake. Like you don't need to use the brake at all in 50cc, and in 100, if you know, let off the accelerator and drift properly, you don't really need the brake in 100 either. You know, could it make your life easier? Maybe. You know, but yeah, when you get to 150, like that brake becomes very important. All of a
But
sudden, you're like, oh, this button I haven't used the entire game. Now I know why it's here.
Yeah.
well, the problem with using the brake is it'll let other people get in front of you too much. So like you still have to be accelerating while doing your drift. Otherwise, you're going to get passed up pretty easily.
You give it a little tip, tippy tap on the brake as you go through things.
Yeah.
Also, this is why you hold on bananas and green shells. Somebody tries to pass you, let them know that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, pretty much. If the game is nice enough to give you a banana or green
Yeah.
shells, because usually you just get
how-
coins.
Yeah, how obnoxious is it to be in first place and just like, here's some coins? You're like, I have 25 coins. I don't need any more coins.
Yeah. But that's the thing that's funny about the drifting mechanics too, because whatever direction you're drifting, your cart will like keep going that direction, and so you have to jump the opposite way to straighten yourself out. And I figured that out because I was watching some speedrunners talking about how to do proper drifts, because I was just getting really tired of like feeling like I was flying all over the place. Like I was really trying to hone it in to finish up some of these retro achievements. And it's not even a hard retro achievement set. It's just beat 150cc, getting first in every track. But some of those tracks, like the turns, are just gonna mess with you if you don't got the drift down right. And so I was like
Yep.
trying to dial it in, like figure it out. And I was like, oh
all
my
those
gosh, I
Bowser
can't.
Castles with
I
the
just
90-degree turns.
can't, man.
No.
It's like I
Yeah.
finally did it. And oh man, yeah, Bowser's Castle 3, I think. It
Yeah,
was pretty
yep.
harsh for a bit for me.
Three's pretty gnarly. It's got several of those 90-degree turns.
Yep.
Ghost Valley. I mean, all of them have some nasty turns, but Ghost Valley 3 especially has some gnarly ones.
Yeah. Special Cup. The first level of Special Cup is probably the worst level in the entire game, just because of that
Points
bridge
free.
jump. Got to jump over the broken bridge and immediately do a nice sharp turn to go over that really narrow thing so you don't end up on water on either side. And then you got to do a really nice narrow turn so you don't go flying too far off to the side. And oh, it's freaking brutal. Now it was
Yeah,
like
but
young me
for
was
19
like,
I was about to say, have you considered getting good?
I did get good. I
This
did
is-
it.
this is-
I did
This is
it.
one of those things. I know. This is one of those things, I dropped in Discord, probably halfway through the month where I'm like playing this and I'm like, 10-year-old me would absolutely annihilate 38-year-old me at this game. Like it wouldn't even be a contest.
It wouldn't be a contest.
It
Nope.
wouldn't even be a contest.
Nope.
Yeah, this game, like, it is the physics are very well nailed down for the time period. They should be commended for that, but the hitboxes for some things are jank.
Oh yeah.
Like super jank. Like there'll be times like, how did I hit that? And then other times like, how did you not hit that?
Oh
Dude,
man.
is
Yeah,
there
and-
anything
Constantly in the
as
water.
tragic as thinking you've got a really smooth drift around a corner and then
Mm.
clipping the edge of the corner?
Yeah,
Yep.
if you hit the box railing, you're done. You're done. You might as well just go back to the menu at that point.
Yep.
Nah, never surrender. Especially
Never give up.
It's 5 laps. Like when that happens in lap 2 or 3, like you got plenty of time to make that up.
Yeah.
Depending on the
Yeah.
track.
When it happens in lap 5, yeah, driving words. Let loose with your driving words. When it
You're gonna
happens in
use
lap
that
5.
retry button and lose one of your lives. That's the other thing about this Mario Kart game. You had lives.
Yep.
I'm glad they did away with that with Mario Kart 64.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was okay with it though, right? Because like, if you placed in the bottom half anyways, what are the chances you're gonna get gold? Might as well, spend a life and do it over.
Yeah, but you could do that in Mario Kart 64 without using lives.
Yeah, but where's the suspense? Where's the motivation to get better?
Motivation to get better is to be done with it. Don't have to replay it.
Play a real man's Mario Kart.
Mario Kart Wii. Wait, what? No.
No, don't speak that.
Where's the gasoline? Hate Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because it's the worst one in the series.
It is the worst one in the series.
I'll say it. Don't at me in the comments. I don't care about your
Nope.
childish opinions.
Nope. Hate
It
Mario
is
Kart Wii.
the definition of so close and yet so far. Like I feel like on paper we could potentially be one of the better ones, but like all the what it is.
It,
Picture
was gonna say
items,
this. I was
bikes,
gonna say
collision.
this till later, but I'll throw it out now since we're talking about Mario Kart Wii. But talking about like where I would place this game, Super Mario Kart, against others in the series, it's like I'm gonna be bold and I'm gonna give it an A rank. It's not S tier, but it also doesn't have a single blue shell in it, so that automatically gets it an A. Because
See,
Oh
I'm never
boy,
gonna be
I'm
playing a
gonna have
race.
fighting words here.
I'm
The
never
blue
gonna be
shell's
playing a race.
necessary.
no, it's
No.
The
not.
blue shell's necessary.
No, it's not.
Here's the thing. In the N64, they were tasteful with their blue shells, okay?
Mm.
Mario Kart Wii, it's like 3 laps. Yeah, we got time for 4 or 5 blue shells.
Yep.
Like, why?
Yep.
See, it's like water. It's not.
It just
The
it
blue
just
shells
turns
aren't the problem. It's just too many blue shells.
it's
Too much water.
this obnoxious game of try to be in second the whole time to snake first at the end.
Yeah,
Yep.
that does suck. That
That's
does suck.
that's not
Yep.
I'll
how I
agree
play.
with
It's a
you
racing
there.
game. I just want to go fast, and I want to be rewarded for going fast.
Play
Yep.
F-Zero.
Yeah.
Gonna bring back out the copium.
Yep, the copium.
Oh wait, there is no F-Zero.
Tell that to my retro collection off camera.
Yeah.
Oh
Excuse
man.
me, I'll go be playing deathmatch and seeing how fast I can annihilate 29 other cars.
Yep.
Speaking of F-Zero, though, that is something that I actually kind of don't like about Super Mario Kart is one player F-Zero, you get the whole screen for yourself. I kind of don't
he
like that
doesn't
Super
like it.
Mario Kart always has the 2 screens, even if you don't want the second one. That irritates me.
I mean, it's really when you're new, it's really helpful to have the map.
Hmm.
And honestly, being able to throw on your rear view camera is really fun. I mean, one, it's interesting. Like that's something you like before Mario Kart. I don't know of any racing game that let you do that. So
Yeah.
that was a really cool feature. But also, it's super helpful for again when you want to drop a banana or a green shell, and you really want to make sure it messes somebody's day up. Like dropping
Yeah.
one of those right before a jump or a ramp of something. Beautiful.
Oh, I got Yoshi.
And you
like
get
that a couple of
the
times.
other sprite view because you're always looking at the sprite view of your character
You're
from
looking back
behind,
or
and so
ahead,
it gives
yeah.
you a
Yeah,
chance to see
yeah.
the sprite from the front. So really cool. More appreciation of the artwork on display.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said earlier, I never minded that too much. But going back to the rankings of Mario Kart games real quick, like I still rank Super Mario Kart as one of the higher entries for myself personally, just because it is a really, like, it feels like a really polished game outside of my hatred of the 150cc physics now. And even then, like, I don't know if I can say that the physics are bad because I just suck. Like,
It's like we did it as kids, right?
we did it great as kids and we loved it.
We made it easy.
And if I spent as much time playing this game now as I did as a kid, I'd probably have it nailed back in again and just absolutely love it and shrink my characters back down and beat everyone again. But like, I still rank it as one of my top ones, just because it does have a lot of fun tracks. It does look pretty good. Controls might be hit or miss for some people. But again, it's just a really straightforward experience. And so, like, 64 is always going to be my crown just out of pure nostalgia, even though that game is broken like none other. Like, I admit that that game is broken and it really crappy in so many ways, but it's like, I don't care. I love that game. But, like, Super Mario Kart's right up there with that almost. And again, like, this is actually the first physical copy of the game I've ever owned. And I barely picked this up like a year and a half ago from J4U. It's like I've owned it on Virtual Console for Wii and Wii U, and that's where I've gotten my copy of this game up until this point. And so it's like, yeah, I finally have a physical version.
Nice.
It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I never knew you could shrink your character.
Yeah.
That's the thing you can do when your character select.
Does it? How does it affect the race?
You can get run over, just
Yeah.
like when you eat
It's
Oh,
Peach's
so it's
power.
just playing on hard mode.
It's playing on
Harder
hard
mode,
mode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Play hard mode enough as it is in life. I don't.
Yeah, games are supposed to be fun,
Well,
apparently.
again, when we were kids, things weren't so hard. It was okay to make things harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Fair
man.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. As for the controls, yeah, I would say I don't think the controls are bad. They're dated, I'd say a bit.
I just
But
mean the
I'd say
D-pad mostly, honestly.
yeah, the D-pad, like
Yeah.
steering with a D-pad is dated.
Yeah, that's about it.
But I'd say it's consistent though. So like
Yeah.
earlier, SirLolz touched and said that the physics were good, and I'd say yeah, the engine is good and it's consistent. So like when we talk about there being some jank, it's more about kind of understanding how the game plays.
Yeah.
But like once you figure that out, it's consistent for you the whole time. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just there's no training wheels, so
yeah,
Old game.
it's
well,
really good. It's really good controls, but it's not forgiving at all. There's no margin for error. So,
Yeah.
like that's where the fun for speedrunners and 150 cc's come in. It's like if you can master the inputs, the game will reward you for that. But if you mess up at all, it'll slap you silly.
Yep, pretty much.
It's like I remember when we picked this for game of the month, I was actually gonna play with a racing wheel, and then I was like, oh wait, there's no analog input, so I'm not gonna do that.
We'll have to do that with Mario Kart 64 one of these days, and I'll bust out my
Yeah.
N64 racing wheel finally.
Yeah. Oh, I got one of the. You got an N64 one?
I got an N64
Yeah,
racing wheel. Heck yeah, dude. Oh, fun.
If Discord let me, but yeah.
as I'm looking around my man cave, I'm like, I actually don't think I have one of those. I think that's one of those items that I saw somewhere at a game store, and I was like, I don't need it. I'll never actually use it. It'll just be a shelf piece.
Oh man, I
So
picked it up.
It's like I just need if it's gonna be a shelf piece, it needs to be better priced, right? I can't spend an exorbitant amount of money on a shelf piece.
I think I
Yeah.
got it from Bronson's shop, Retro Game Vault in American Fork, Utah. I think I picked that up for about $30, and I brought it home, hooked it up, turned on NASCAR 2000, was like just playing with that, and then let Roddy play it for a while just to drive around. Like, good times. I need to bust that out again.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's the only console I've ever owned a racing wheel for is N64 now.
The V3 racing wheel.
I don't
Is that
remember.
what it was?
I don't remember which one I got. There's two on N64.
Yeah, I found the V3 one, and that thing looks sick. I missed out. Well, another day.
Mhm.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, back
yeah.
to Super Mario Kart.
Super Mario Kart. We haven't talked about yet is the soundtrack.
No,
Ooh.
we touched on sound
I-
effects and skipped out on
Yeah, you touched on
soundtrack.
soundtrack,
Yeah.
but we hadn't talked about the music, and I personally love the music in this.
Oh heck yeah!
There aren't too many. I think, there are like 8 soundtracks in this, something like that.
Yeah, you have the like Donut Plains track that plays on all the Donut Plain levels. You have the Bowser track that plays on all the Bowser levels. The Ghost
Yep.
track.
Yep.
And then the Choco Island track or whatever.
Yeah, Choco.
Then you got the
Super Beat.
score screen track, and then you got the podium track that I could think of, and then the intro track.
Ghost Valley
Yeah.
has its own soundtrack,
Yeah.
and I think Vanilla Lake has. Its
Oh
own
yeah,
too,
Vanilla,
doesn't
the ice levels. Yeah, they
it?
have their own.
Yeah. And then the Rainbow Road.
Yeah.
Let's see. I found a playlist, and it says 24 tracks.
Oh.
Hmm.
I mean, some of those will probably just be the short, like the fanfare when you.
Oh yeah.
complete
Yeah.
stuff. But I mean, it's great music to race to. You
Yeah.
can just kind of vibe to it.
They fit the
Nintendo
theme
has
well.
always, Nintendo has always done a really good job of getting the most out of a MIDI track. They nail every MIDI track they do.
I miss MIDI.
Yeah.
Dude, when you get a good MIDI driver and like a good MIDI playback device, like it's like, oh my gosh. Like the entire Chrono Cross soundtrack was MIDI, apparently.
Do you know that Pikmin 2, a little off topic, Pikmin 2, because it had MIDI, it was actually able to dynamically create soundtracks for you depending on how well you're doing, and it would actually change it depending on how many Pikmin you had left. So it had like 10 bass MIDI tracks, and it would mix them together based on different scenarios, like how deep you are in the cave, how many Pikmin you have left from versus how many you brought with you. That those are just kind of things that can't be done with normal audio wave tracks. Like you need MIDI for those to really be successful.
And think about like how much like space it saves
Yeah.
on like especially on GameCube, like to have that level of dynamic audio, like that would have taken up the entire disc by itself.
Yeah. It
Just with
also is
audio.
the unintentional side effect fun of being able to swap the MIDI notes. So you can like make soundtracks, but like with the Castlevania MIDI font instead.
Mm.
Just fun little nonsense like that.
Like I think it was Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Like the game came on a dual layer DVD, uses up the entire space of that dual layer DVD almost, and like 60 to like 80% of that was literally just music.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number, but I remember like just being baffled by how much was just the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Well, part of it too, because of how much music they put into those.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there was just so much.
Like Ultimate, I think, had close to 1,000 songs on its soundtrack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe
like
it.
they added a music player mode.
Yeah.
Which was silly when they were doing the demo because they're like, just pop your Switch in your bag and attach your headphones. And I'm like, good sir,
Yeah.
it's a Nintendo Switch, not a little iPod Nano, okay?
Dude, PSP is still the best music player I've ever owned to this day. Fight me. Love that thing.
It's just like I love listening to the soundtrack of Smash Brothers, but I don't have any pants pockets big enough to slip a Nintendo Switch into, and I don't feel like carrying around a man purse or an attaché case or anything to just be able to listen, vibe to my Nintendo Switch soundtrack.
Yeah.
Dude, 3DS had a pretty decent music player in it too, not gonna lie.
It did.
And then you could use it to hack the systems at one point in time, so that was also really funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So Super Mario Kart soundtrack, A++, like good work there. Anyway.
What are some of your favorite tracks out of the game? Courses to race on.
So I actually really do like the Rainbow Road of this track. It's challenging. The thwomps are irritating as none other. At least they're not the electric variants.
Yeah.
But going back to something we touched on earlier with the collision detection, the thwomps in this games will grab you. Like you'll try to be going through, threading the needle through two of them. You're like perfectly lined up between two of them and still say you hit one of them. So that's unfortunate. It's pretty easy to avoid them in Rainbow Road, thankfully, but they still manage to screw you up every once in a while when you are trying to get first place. But like I really do like the Rainbow Road track. The vanilla courses, I've enjoyed both of those. You let the CPU get ahead of you and they'll take out all the stupid ice obstacles and then you just pass them up on the second lap and you have like a free shot. It's pretty fun. And then just the first intro track, Mario Cup or Mushroom Cup,
Mario Circuit 1.
Mario Circuit 1, whatever it's called. Like just straight up, bam, we're diving into this. This is great stuff. What about you guys?
I'm a fan of the Boo Bridge tracks. Those something that's fun about those is they have a really good sense of depth because you're on a boardwalk. So the tracks do not look flat at all. They even add little pillars under the track in spots you can see, so it really adds to the three-dimensional feel of it.
Extra boards tacked down like it's holding other pieces.
Yeah.
And it even makes your character bounce when you go over them. Like it's good.
You get the clacking of the wood as you drive.
Yep, it's good stuff.
Yeah, those tracks have a lot of personality, despite being very black and white in color.
Yeah.
They also have some of the best shortcuts.
I was gonna say, it was Ghost Valley 1 had one that cut off several seconds if you could pull it off.
You had to skip that entire last little bottom curve.
Yeah. have a straightaway. It was
Yep.
pretty nice.
Use the feather item. The only
Yep.
game the feather item appeared in, if memory serves.
Didn't the Game Boy Advance have it as
No,
well?
it showed up in the 3DS version. I know.
Did it?
Oh, was
Okay.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in
I
3DS.
feel like I vaguely
No,
remember.
that was the Tanuki tail. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sneaky Tail for slapping things away, but I thought the feather appeared in the Game Boy Advance one, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't
It's been a
remember it in the Game Boy
it's been a
Advance
very
one.
long time
I
since
don't
I played
remember
the
it.
Game
It
Boy
probably
Advance.
might. I
could be
don't
wrong.
remember.
I
Been too long
I
since I
thought
played the GBA version.
Maybe that should be the
I
next
thought
game.
that it was present, but I could be wrong. That's
I don't remember.
that
We could be actually
that
about
one
that.
did not get the hours that this one got. So
See, I did play the Game
don't
Boy
hold
Advance one a lot. We would bring it to school, and when we were done with all of our stupid standardized testing, we would just 4-player link cable it in the corner. It was
see
great
that one.
stuff.
I didn't pick that one up until after college, so I don't
Yeah.
have I don't have very much time on that one.
I think I have a lot of nostalgia for the GBA one more than the Super Nintendo one, even, to be honest.
There
But
is no feather in the GBA one.
yeah, I didn't
Okay,
think
I
so.
was wrong. But now I learned. Today I learned.
Yeah, I think there might be one other game that the feather might have been in, but I really don't remember. Like, I feel like it was literally just Super Mario Kart. But
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
they did have a feather in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Okay. I don't play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe a whole lot, to be honest.
Same.
And so the feather really opened up a lot
and
of.
it's only usable in battle mode, so it's not even a full-fledged item.
Yeah, screw that
And
then.
it looks like it's also in Mario Kart Tour, but in something called
No one
that
cares about
that one
mobile
barely
games.
counts.
No one cares
Yeah,
about mobile games.
I haven't played it.
It's
I'm
like that long removed distant cousin, uncle
I
that
know.
no one
Trust me.
speaks to.
Trust like I never even downloaded it to play once, and I
Nope.
own the entire Mario
Refuse.
Kart series.
Refuse.
I love the Mario Kart series, but when they're like, it's a mobile game,
Nope.
and I was
Refuse.
like, nope. It's like, sorry, Nintendo.
But yeah, it opened up a lot of shortcut possibilities that I really enjoyed. And again, the Ghost Houses had a lot of uses for that. So, Zachary, any other
with the
favorite tracks
feather-
to get back on our question there?
Back on track.
Yeah.
Back on favorite tracks.
The mud ones are pretty fun.
Cocoa Island.
Outside,
or Choco
yeah,
Island.
yeah. Choco
Oh,
Island.
we totally
Outside of
skipped
that-
over Koopa Troopa Beach levels too.
Yeah. We
I
hadn't
don't like
talked about
water
those.
levels much. It's too much water.
Too much water.
Yeah.
I was like, were you providing a review of the 3DS port of Pokemon Alpha and Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby?
Yep.
Too much water.
7.8. Too much water. This is why the site is called Ignorant.
Yep. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. The Bowser's tracks are fun, but I don't like how sharp their turns are.
Yeah.
So that really kills them for me, despite the fact I like them thematically.
It's a lot of fun since you have the jumps to, set booby traps for other players.
Yeah.
Or take them out on the jumps.
I have a good story. So I think it's Bowser Castle 1, where it's just the first set of jumps, and you go back around, do the second set of jumps, and then you're at the finish line. So I was doing those jumps, and I land where all those coins are, and another character landed on top of my character. And it made it so I couldn't steer anymore, so I just kept flying into the wall and just slammed into that corner, and it dislodged the other character, who immediately was just gone, like they just immediate 90-degree turn. And so I had to jump and turn around to get back on the jump, and it was like the final lap, and it just screwed me out of the first place on that. I was just like, never in a million years will that happen again.
Yeah. I think
that happened to me back as a kid, and it stuck with me to this day because I was just so flabbergasted at it happening. But yeah. Wiz, what are your favorite tracks?
See, that's a hard one because honestly, I enjoy all the themes. I think they all offer something interesting and different because, it was hilarious as a kid to run over the Monty moles. We thought that was hilarious. You get a mole on your face, and I know it slows you down, but the squeaking, squealing, is like freaking out, and you shake them off. Hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
Love that.
It took me way too long to know that you could just mash jump to get them off of you quicker.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think. I like the Vanilla Lake ones. the breaking the ice. It's fun. It's a satisfying sound effect. And again, you can shoulder check bump people into the water, and that's entertaining. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good ones. I mean, like, I like the levels that have jumps a lot. So, Bowser's
Yeah.
Castles, the Ghost Valleys, a couple of the Mario Circuit ones, like where you jump over the racers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a great time.
And there's 20 tracks in this game. Because
Yeah.
not only were there 5 laps per track, there were 5 tracks per race instead of 4
Yeah.
Yep.
that we
Yeah,
would see
and
later.
I have to say too, shifting gears a little bit, talking since you brought up the 5 tracks, I like the point values they assign for how you place.
Hmm.
Like this is a game where it feels like you're really in it until the end,
Mhm.
right? You can have a bad race and still come out and get the gold at the end of the cup. You can have a bad lap and still come in first place in a race. Like it's for me, like short of, something bad happening in the final lap, there aren't too many times where it feels like you should just give up and start over. Like a lot of time you can fight your way back. Now, 150cc might be a little bit different if you haven't, had the hours because you're an adult and you have work and family. You can't grind this game all day long. But like it feels more balanced than some of the later ones. The differences in the point values between like first and second and third, like it keeps you still in the race. And, more modern ones, there's a bigger disparity. And so it's easy to get an early lead and kind of just be like, okay, that's who's going to win the cup.
Yeah. 9641 for Super Mario Kart, just like it is on 64, isn't it?
Like, I don't remember what's after 6. I never get that low.
Well, with Super Mario Kart, I don't think you get any points at all if you're below 4th.
No, you get
Yeah,
1 point
let's
for
get.
4th.
Okay, well, I think only the top 4 get any points.
Yeah,
So,
5, 6, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8 get 0.
nerds.
Yeah, and that's one thing about newer Mario Karts. Like they give you the participation points if you really suck still. Friggin'
No
participation trophy.
participation.
Stupid participation trophies.
So yeah, 963 or 9631 points from first
Okay.
to 4th.
Oh, 3 instead of 4. Okay.
Yeah.
But still, when you're talking about only a difference of 3 points and there's 5 races,
Yeah.
like that can be made up.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it can.
And it also means even if you come in first in one race, if you do horribly the next, it doesn't help you much at all.
Yep.
Like you can't
But-
just get a leading score and then just stay ahead the remainder of the circuit.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 is lame. It's 15, 12, and then it's just 10 through 1 points. Like
Yep.
why does last place get a point? You literally came in last.
Everybody
You
needs their
lose.
participation trophy these days.
I
It's like, you
guess.
get nothing.
You get
Yeah.
nothing.
Like that really is.
You
I
get the
didn't even
poop
know
brown
that.
ribbon.
Yeah, it's like you should get 0 points. You came in last.
Oh
Live
my
with your
gosh.
shame.
Yeah, live with your shame.
Get all fourths
Walk
in
home
Mario
in the
Kart 64.
rain.
You get blown up by a bomb.
Yeah.
Told quit sucking.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Super Mario Kart is available now on Nintendo Switch Online if you do the sub to that, or if you have an original Super Nintendo, it's available in NTSC and PAL regions. Not too costly, thankfully. I think this game only goes for around $20 to $30 for an original cart still, or if you grab the Japanese version, you can get it for like 10 to 15. And there's not really much dialogue in the game, so it's a good one to get in a Japanese version without having to worry about that. But I think it's still really worth playing today. Just do note that 150cc may spank you in the behind quite a while you're learning the drift mechanics, because they work so much differently from 50cc, 100cc to 150cc just because of the overall speed of your character. And I don't know. if you enjoy the learning curve, you're probably going to really love that. If you're like me, where it's a bit more obnoxious to you, it's not the greatest thing in the world, and you're going to just be like, I'm just going to stop at 100cc. Awesome, that was fun. But I still think the game is really worth playing today. It's got really great pixel art, holds up well enough. The Mode 7 stuff may not be your cup of tea. Maybe it is. That's going to be personal preference, but again, I think it holds up pretty well and just has a good amount of tracks, good content, and yeah, I really like this game. I think it's still really well worth playing today. And one thing we never really touched on was the fact that you can unlock all these tracks in the Game Boy Advance version too. Like, you beat the Game Boy Advance version, you get all of the Super Mario Kart tracks to play. Like, that's another really cool thing, because that is
Very nice.
that is the most recognizable successor to Super Mario Kart in the franchise, because it used the same type of gameplay.
Mode 7.
Yeah, it used the same type of display, just with a lot better detailed drawings, more 3D aesthetic from Mario Kart 64. But yeah. Why don't you guys leave us some final thoughts on Super Mario Kart?
I brought us in. Why don't you take us out, Wiz?
You don't want to add any final thoughts?
No, I'll add some thoughts. Yeah, I think it's good. It definitely holds up today. I have to admit, it's probably not my favorite. I probably wouldn't rate it above any of the 3D ones, if I'm honest, just because my first Mario Kart was 3D, so I'm sorry.
I was going to try to say Mario Kart Wii is a better game.
Oh, it's not a better game at all, but you know.
Okay,
No,
he rates it under every other 3D Mario game but Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart Wii will always be dead last, no matter what.
See, I
Mario
just
Kart Tour and
assumed-
Wii are like tied for dead last. How about that?
Yeah, see, I just assumed that we all agreed Mario Kart Wii wasn't a game, so I didn't think it was worthy to include in the list.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Gonna trigger
yes,
all
I
the
will
kids that were 10 when Mario Kart Wii came out.
I will clarify that I do prefer this one over Mario Kart Wii, but that game's not fun at all. But yeah, actually, I'd probably say it's tied for N64. N64 has some really good tracks, but some of those tracks are really darn long. And Super Circuit actually kind of beats N64 in that regard. You know, it's like the tracks are short, they're sweet, they're fun. 3 minutes, you're in, out, boom. Everyone's having a good time. So, getting back on topic, not my favorite Mario Kart, but it's fun, you know.
The classic.
Really good physics for the time, really good amount of content. Like, you get so much content with the game. And the 2-player battle mode, while probably one of the weaker battle modes, it was the start, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The water level in battle mode will always be my favorite for Super Mario Kart. I know we didn't touch on battle mode in this discussion.
I was actually going to my final comments because I was like, "There's no way we can't not talk about the battle mode."
Yeah, I had a lot of good memories on that one.
But like, I got busy, then you got busy.
Yeah,
and
it happens. It happens. It's been over 20 years since I played battle mode, unfortunately.
Yeah. We spent most of this talking about the Grand Prix, which is like really where the meat of this game is, and it's fantastic. There's time trial, which I've never really cared about so much.
Yeah.
You know, if you're speedrunning, you know, that's fantastic practice.
Or if you hate blue shells.
Well, I mean, time trials where people
there-
time themselves in for speedruns,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Match race is an interesting one where it's basically like the Grand Prix, except no CPU characters, so just you and another human. And that was interesting because they add some elements like, you know, the bullet bill obstacle that isn't present in the normal game. And do they have the boo as an item in match race, or is that only in the battle mode? I can't remember.
I have no idea. Like I said, I haven't played any multiplayer in this game in over 20 years.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, having you know the introduction of the boo that lets you steal items from other players.
Yeah, I thought that got its introduction on 64, so that's cool.
Nope, it's in the Super Nintendo.
That's cool.
But yeah, the battle mode, with 4 whole maps. You mentioned the water one. That one's funny to me because my younger brother would always get the feather and then go jump in one of the boxes.
Exactly.
So you couldn't hit him with anything. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
okay, well then
Wow.
what would happen is I would drive around and spamming items until I got a banana. And then I'd start flinging bananas in there at him. It's like, fine, put yourself in a little box and I'll throw trash in there with you.
Yep. And see the
Why
other
let trash get treated like trash?
that's the other thing. People would try to get the feather and jump in with you, and there's a couple of those middle boxes that have item boxes in it, so you would just back up and drive over it
Yeah.
until you get a red shell. They jump in with you and you go tink, and then you
Yeah,
jump
that's why I
out and run around.
I wouldn't jump in there with him. I'd just throw stuff at him.
Yeah, I would. My buddies would take the bait and try to jump in with me, and I'd always get a free red shell shot on them, like every single time.
Now, for me, it was I think it was course 4, the one that has like the concentric boxes. That
Yeah,
get, like,
yeah.
bigger. That one was awesome. I like the ice one a lot too, even though it's more difficult sliding around and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Special shout
yeah.
out that these battle mode courses like came back in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe though.
Yeah, that is fun. I did love seeing that, Battle Course 4 with the different size boxes come back. That was nice.
I'm going to interject something. I think the battle tracks in Super might actually be better than the ones in N64. Now, N64 had some good ones, but
Dude,
like
you can't be
when it's
hating on
just
Block for it like that. Come on now.
Hold
well,
on.
it's too
Hold on.
big.
And Skyscraper. And
Skyscraper is the one. Skyscraper is good, but I mean, come on.
Skyscraper-
Some of those-
Skyscraper is
yeah,
the
like-
one level that like this N64 CPU could actually handle at full frame rate. So in a lot of emulation, it runs too fast.
Look, Block Fort is loads of fun. I'm not saying it's
I
not.
love Block for it, dude.
Skyscraper is goated, okay?
It is goaded with the sauce.
And then you would try to jump over the middle and midair collide with your midair collide with your buddies and fall
best
to your
part
deaths.
was blasting somebody right before they hit the jump, so they'd lose a balloon, tumble off the edge, and then Lakitu would grab them and take a second balloon.
Oh,
Like,
yep,
two
yep,
balloons for one green shell. It was beautiful.
yep. Good times.
But
Good times. Lots of
anyways, yeah.
memories.
battle mode, only could do 2 players in this game, but still loads of fun.
Imagine if this game had multi-tap support, man.
that
Yeah.
is a crying shame. This would have been.
I mean, when did the
peak
multi-tap
Mario
come out
Kart.
though? Because I don't think anything had multi-tap
was-
support this early in the lifespan.
No, it was later.
Yeah.
But
I've never played a Super Nintendo multi-tap game.
Yeah,
in
in
my life.
1993. So it came out 2 years after this.
I would do it.
but
Yeah.
yeah, anyways, so I mean, I love this game. And I fully acknowledge that I have a ton of nostalgia going into it. The controls are a little antiquated by modern standards. So if you've never played it before, go into it knowing that there's a bit of a learning curve on the physics. But if you can get past that, it's a blast to play.
Yeah.
And being available on NSO or being able to cheaply order a Japanese cart makes it fairly accessible.
Yep.
Um,
Tons of clone
I-
Super Nintendo systems too.
Yep. I for me, like I said earlier, if I had to rank these, I'd probably put this as an A rank, very high. Not the best one, but still super worth playing. Since we were talking earlier, I think for me, like N64 is top for battle mode and Double Dash is top for racing, but this one is a great entry in the series.
All right. Just so we could have people pissed off at us, like let's assign an actual like number rank value here out of 10 for Super Mario Kart. So,
you want to? I thought you were gonna have us rank it out of 8. Like where it fits.
oh no. I just want to hear your numerical
you wanna hear
review
like
score for this game.
like an IGN thing.
Yeah, let's hear
no
your
one's paying
numerical.
Me, so why would I give it a number?
Let's hear it. Let's hear the number. Let's hear the numerical review score that you would give Super Mario Kart. I'm gonna go with 8.
7.5.
I'm gonna go with a solid 8 on this one.
7.5.
7.5.
Now, are you doing this on a scale of Mario Kart games or just like
Just games.
gaming in general?
Just
Gaming
how would
in
you review
general?
this game as a playable game in 2024? Like, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10.
As just a game in 2024, I might go 7.5 just because of the learning curve on the controls. In a Mario Kart only universe, I'd probably call it an 8.5.
All right, fair enough. But Wiz, Zachary, thank you again for joining me for this month's Game of the Month discussion on Super Mario Kart.
Ooh.
And for anybody watching today's podcast, Game of the Month podcast, love to hear your thoughts on Super Mario Kart. Share with us your numerical review score if you're so inclined. And just share some memories with the game in general, because we'd love to read it and experience that with you. But again, thank you for joining us. We'll see you all back next month.
Peace.